On this episode, we speak about emotional wellness and how it impacts our everyday lives with Stephanie Pierre, content creator, social entrepreneur, and founder of the Melanin Project. We also have special surprise guests, Miss Adrianne Jones Roderick and Miss Michelle Jones Galvin, the nieces of Ancestor and Aunt Harriet Tubman. Tune in as they share some special words right here on LifeClub. I'm Tashima Jones. Welcome to LifeClub. I genuinely believe personal development unlocks the door to the abundant and wonderful life we all already have. I also believe we must be intentional about seeking out that life in order to find and fulfill it. I am so grateful your journey of discovery has led you all the way here. Let's keep moving forward together. Once again, welcome to LifeClub with me, Tashima Jones. Welcome. Hearing that never really gets old to me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to LifeClub with me, Tashima Jones. As promised, we're super excited to be speaking with our special guest, Miss Stephanie Pierre. Stephanie is an ambitious and personable content creator and innovative social entrepreneur with a passion for mental health. Her professional experiences range from mental health nursing as a practical nurse to community development and public and private partnerships as a business development consultant. Stephanie is a natural-born business professional and curator of impactful mental health programming. Staying true to her entrepreneurial spirit, Stephanie launched her own emotional wellness lifestyle brand called the Melanin Project with an apparel line named Melanin under its umbrella. The company is focused on normalizing mental health to members of the African I always get caught up on this word. Diaspora. Thank you, girl. Through palatable mental health programming, apparel, and collaborative initiatives with organizations of the same purpose. Without further ado, we welcome you, Miss Stephanie Pierre, to Life Club with Tashima Jones. Hey. Welcome. So we're going to jump right into Dreams They Do Come True. It's one of our favorite segments where our listeners and guests get to share their dream with us so that we can share it with the world. Miss Stephanie Pierre, what is your ultimate dream?
Oh, man, there's so many. But if I had to put it into one dream, I definitely would want to be a huge tastemaker in the mental health sphere as it relates to identity.
That's good.
Kind of like think what Rihanna's doing for the Caribbean in music.
Okay.
I would want to normalize mental health in that same way. I would want to be a proponent in making it, I don't know, what's the word that I'm looking for? Kind of just like cool.
Yes. Like I was going to say, make it popping.
That's pretty much it. Because it really is cool to be well.
Yes.
And so, when you look good, you feel good, right. You act, you do better.
Definitely.
So I'd want to make that sexy.
Yeah. That was the other word I was thinking about too. Alrighty, so we're going to jump right into the same 7-hour rapid fire round of questions. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what is your favorite color?
Okay, so it typically depends on the season, but I'm going to go with purple.
Okay, royalty, heard you.
Yeah.
How do you stay healthy?
I practice a lot of yoga, many different forms. Just yesterday I did some comedic yoga on the beach, which was beautiful.
Wow, that sounds nice.
And sometimes I go running, so I ran this morning.
Nice.
I do a lot of video journaling, a lot of journaling by hand.
Nice.
I draw, I sketch, that kind of stuff. So
okay.
anything to create, pretty much.
Yes, I was going to say, it's therapeutic to create. That's
Absolutely.
what it sounds like. That's
Absolutely.
good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. What song best describes your life?
Okay, so this was tough, right? But I think Whitney Houston song, I Want to Dance with Someone.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah, because
yeah.
I feel like every time I come outside, I'm just ready to engage.
Yes.
So it's like,
Nice.
what's up? You know?
I like that.
Mhm.
I like that.
I love it.
When do you feel most like yourself?
At dawn. No one else is up. So I like it. I love the hours of like 5 a.m. to like 6:45.
Okay.
People are headed to work, sure, but like for those, if you don't have to be somewhere, people are usually slumbering. And so I feel like there's a lot of energy around, and so I like to be up doing whatever I want
And
to
it
do.
says something, I believe, to the spiritual nature of you, because at dawn, it's amazing because while it seems to be still and quiet, there's so much activity and there's so much clarity going on.
That is it.
So
And I
that's
tell people
good.
all the time, if you wake up in the middle of the night around 4 a.m., it's because you're supposed to do something
Yes.
at 4 a.m.
Yes, good
Yeah.
stuff. Same 7 is like a whole interview in itself. If you could go anywhere in space and time, where would it be and why?
If I could go anywhere, okay, so follow me, right? So if I could go anywhere, this place only exists in a movie right now. We all saw Black Panther. You saw when they buried T'Challa and he went to go see his dad at that plane, that
Yes.
ancestral plane. I would want to go there and holla at every Haitian revolutionary, specifically the women. Right?
Wow, yes.
And I'd want to ask them like, what did they do right? And what did they do wrong? Like, where was a misstep? If they had one, if they could consider a misstep, what would it be? And how would we, pick up, like, where they left off? Because it's hard being a Black woman trying to, like, establish yourself, fight for things you care
And change
about.
the world all at the same
Girl.
time.
Girl.
It's real.
You
It is
know?
really real. That's good.
Yeah, that's exactly where I'd want to go.
That's good. I am going to follow you. I'm going to add that to mine, too. What advice would you give to your younger self?
That your voice matters, that, whatever it is that you think, feel, it's worth being said and shared. People might not like it, but that's cool,
That's good.
Yeah.
That is good.
Yeah.
Because in my mind, your voice is you.
Yes.
Like, you are your voice.
Yes. Yes.
Deep.
Yes.
Hashtag deep. And last but not least, in your own words, what is the definition of life?
So life is, period, right? It's like a video game, and we all are like player one. So, like, the video game comes programmed with, like, cheat codes. There's, like, villains, every level. And it stays the same. It doesn't matter who picks up the game. It's going to do the same things. It's really on the player. So it's like, you might group play with whoever you love. But, it's really an individual thing. And you just you can either panic your way through all the levels. You can act like you did not play this before. Or you can be excited and see if you can beat the next test. Like, it's really up to you. So I think that's just the easiest way for me to understand what we're doing here.
That's good. Girl.
Church on a Sunday.
Yes, never thought of it like that.
Like, girl.
Yeah. That's exactly it
Wow.
for me.
Yes.
It's constant. We're the ones that, actually make the thing.
Yes. That co-creation
that's
is
a
such
fact.
a
It's huge. It's
huge part of life. Thank you so much. Like, girl.
I brought
Like,
all
we
this
felt
sauce
that.
from Brooklyn.
Yes, all
for
the
you.
way from BK. Wow. Alrighty, so we're going to jump right into our conversation, speaking about how emotional wellness impacts our everyday lives. You know how people wake up and they say, oh, I'm not a morning person. Girl, you're not a morning person because you choose not to be.
That's a fact.
So I really, really, really hope, and the goal is to make this connection between your emotional and mental well-being and how you carry out your everyday life and everyday activities. First and foremost, how important is emotional wellness to your everyday life?
It's integral. It's like paramount. So I find that, like, with any challenge, and it could be even like if I took my commute here, right? Like, it's Brooklyn ain't across the street, right? So there are many things that pop up. A delay, a second delay, a fourth delay with the MTA, a crowded train, whatever. If you aren't emotionally intelligent, you kind of can't put your finger on what's bothering you or what's triggering you, right? So, like, the commute is a thing that's happening. what about this tight train is triggering me? But if I'm not aware enough, if I'm not emotionally intelligent enough to put my finger on it, then, I'll start acting in ways that are irrational, right? Like I'm sparking at different places because I don't know how to tame what's happening with me. So I think emotional wellness is so important because it's actually everything. Like there are people who are spiritually strong and emotionally unwell, right? There are people who are intellectual and emotionally unwell.
Wow, that's good.
And so like when we start looking at the emotional body and our emotional health as a thing that also needs to be a layer of you that also needs to be addressed, you'll find that it benefits every other layer. Your ability to temper your emotions when necessary allows you to be a better citizen, allows you to be a better friend, a better sister. And, if you don't, well, then that's how chaos kind of ensues.
Definitely. And how I see emotions is like the skin to the body.
Absolutely.
So it's like, your skin, if something pricks your skin, you start to bleed. Like your skin is telling you that something is off, something is wrong. So I think it's the same for our emotions and our soul. If something is off and something is wrong, your emotion is letting you know that maybe somewhere in your thinking, you're a little off. And little off, like going back to just normalizing emotional wellness. I think there's this huge stigma when it comes to being emotionally unbalanced or mentally. Literally, we have emotions, we have thoughts, we have a spirit, we have a soul.
Yes.
Like things happen.
Yes.
Things happen. So I always say it's okay to not be okay, but it's not okay to stay that way.
Right.
And I think we have to acknowledge that, I'm not doing okay. I think especially in our culture, it's so normal to say, hey, how are you? And your immediate response is, oh, I'm good. How are you? Girl, you lying. You're not telling the truth.
Tell the people the truth.
Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Let's be real about how we feel, about where we are. And of course, there's a time and a place, but don't ever become so politically correct that you don't minister to yourself and you don't get that healing that you need. What do you think is that gap, or where do you think that came from, where it became, it became abnormal to share how you feel and what you're going through?
So I would say that the answer to that, for me personally, I found in a lot of like Black feminist theory work. I love to read Bell Hooks novels, Audre Lorde. And I think what helped was that they discuss identity, right? Because we got to talk about who we are in the physical here, because it has a huge impact on our ability to act from spirit, if you will, right? Like I can't get to this self-actualized place if like my human needs are getting in the way. And so I find that after reading, certain Bell Hooks books, I read Communion, The Female Search for Love. That's one. And for men, The Will to Change is a huge one. Talks about male masculinity and male masculinity, double on top. What a thing. But essentially, after reading it, I realized that it gave me space to give myself grace for how hard I'm working down here. So it's kind of like, you have the ISIS papers. I was talking about this book at length with someone yesterday, Dr. Frances Cress Welding, a Black woman. And she's since passed, but her work is, exceptional. And there she just talks about how racism has done a number to Black people, Black women in the following ways, right? Then Bell Hooks and other authors like that, they kind of expand upon the female experience, the male experience. And once I had a clear understanding of that, I was like, it's not my fault that I feel, some of this stuff is not me. Some of this is just the way this stuff is. And in fact, the behaviors that I'm exhibiting, they're not even that off. Everyone is actually going through the same thing. We're all on this spectrum. And so I was able to kind of just breathe after that and say, all right, well, and now that I know that this is this and that is that, and I'm triggered by this and this might be the case, and I also accept that I don't have all the answers, right? I can kind of like take the pressure off just a little bit and focus on the things that matter. And then that's when I start addressing like, what we like to call like shadow work, things on the parts of you don't like to say out loud, and you work through those things to be a better person.
And I think the amazing thing about it is that we don't, sometimes it's so hard to get to that space of even acknowledging the issue. And like you said, extending that grace to yourself, to whisper it even to yourself. And when I recognized that, after I got over it, girl, I was saying a whole bunch. I was like, well, Tashima, you got this other issue too. Right? Because it becomes so freeing to actually let it out. And I think sometimes we think we need another human physical being to really express those things and acknowledge those things when it starts on the inside.
It sure
first.
Does. It sure does. Everything anybody gives you, like anywhere, has nothing to do with you. It's absolutely nothing to do with you. Everybody is literally like sparking in their own universe.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And the more aware you become of yourself, the more you see it in other people. And it takes away the offensiveness, you know, that you may experience. You become less defensive, because that was one of my issues. You forgive more. It's just an amazing aha moment or revelation, if you will, to understand that life is happening on the inside. And how you engage and how others engage with you is all a result of what's going on in the invisible realm.
Absolutely.
And again, emotions. I always say, you know, some people don't really like to acknowledge the spiritual world. But the fact that I can see something in my mind and then co-create that thing in the flesh, that's spiritual. Ideas, thoughts, even the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Yes. All power. All of it.
And everything in the spirit world creates what we see in the natural. So without religion, without, you know, this idea of being spiritual, you are operating in this world. And emotions are spiritual.
Yes, absolutely. And emotions, it's important to even just look at the word, right? Motion is in the word, which is why I practice so much yoga. I run, because when I was feeling really anxious, I would just feel like, you know, I just want to bolt out of here real quick. And so I was like, why don't I try jogging since I want to bolt?
And it was like a relief. I guess,
absolutely. And then you'll find that once you put some activity, some actual mind-body connection, and you feed that a little bit, that's when, you know, you start to find more room to give yourself the space you need to do the internal work.
You even feel even more better.
Absolutely.
You know, relaxed. That's what we need.
Absolutely. Yes. It's great. You put on your favorite trap song, run around the track, run around the park, whatever works, right? Because that's all spiritual. Like, you do whatever feeds you.
Definitely. If you are just tuning in, this is Life Club with me, Tashima Jones. I got my homegirl Brianna in the building, as well as Stephanie Pierre. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will continue our conversation. Super excited to have some impromptu special guests. Hello, are you there?
Yes, we are. How are you, Tashima?
I am so well, and you already know how I feel.
Yes,
I am so grateful. So earlier during the show, I mentioned meeting Ancestor, a.k.a. Aunt Harriet Tubman's nieces.
That's right.
And they are actually on the line right now. So we have Miss Adrianne Jones Roderick and Miss Michelle Jones Galvin. How are you?
We are fantastic. Wonderful. Now that we're listening to you.
Oh, I'm going to cry. I am so very grateful just to hear your voices. And I just appreciate that moment that we shared, and I look forward to just building a bond in the future. I want to say that we need you. Like, we need you. I feel like the older I get, the more I need to know. the more I realize I don't know. So I'm just so grateful that you took that moment to stop me and to share your connection and just to share that moment with you. And I've been talking about it ever since. So thank you.
You are most welcome.
And is there anything you want to share with the women in the studio and our listeners?
I would like, this is Adrianne Jones Roderick speaking. I would like to share with you and your family connection in lieu of Aunt Harriet being on the $20 bill.
Mm-hmm.
Most genuine in my heart to honor Aunt Harriet. I have, since the administration has pretty much, delayed her imprint on the $20 bill. What I have chosen to do is to make sure that the $20 bills are not in my wallet or pocketbook at this time. In respect for Aunt Harriet, I am only putting in 10s and 5s in my wallet until they come to a decision to make sure that her imprint on the 20 actually goes forward.
Yes.
And I mean, sooner than later, not 2028. It needs to go on 2020.
Yes. And I'm going to stand with you and do the same and encourage all of my listeners to do the same as well. Oh, my goodness.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like I said, it's in honor of Aunt Harriet that be done. She's done a lot for a lot of people. And that's the only way that we could actually, repay her for her accomplishments.
Most certainly. And is there a website or any other place that we can go to get more information?
Well, you can always go to our website, which is mosesofherpeople.com. Mosesofherpeople, one word, .com, to find out more about the family's involvement with Aunt Harriet, to take a look at our book called Beyond the Underground, Aunt Harriet, Moses of Her People, and to learn more about what we're doing.
Most certainly. You already know. It's like so many words, but I can't say them all at once. I appreciate this. I appreciate everything that I'm going to call her Aunt Harriet has done.
You know what? When Aunt Harriet was around, everybody called her Aunt Harriet. White, black, old, young.
Awesome.
So she would be listening to you if you call her Aunt Harriet.
Awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
I cry on this show. I do. And I'm trying to keep myself together. I am just so very grateful. And it's just a testament to staying connected to source and staying connected to where we come from, and understanding that even if it isn't said, it is felt that we are the dreams of our ancestors. And I'm just so grateful to reconnect, because I truly believe we've always been connected in some way and somehow. And this is definitely not the last time we're going to speak.
Definitely not.
Yes. And I totally appreciate it. Again, I'm going to share that message with our listeners on my site and just moving forward. I so appreciate your time once again, and never hesitate to call in.
Okay, wonderful. Have a great day.
You too. Thank you so very much. I'll speak to you soon.
Best to you. Take care.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. OMG.
Yo.
This is real life.
Yo. How you have a whole ancestral tribe call in?
Yes. So awesome. So very amazing. So we're going to dive right back into this conversation. You know, we're going to speak a lot more off air. But we're speaking about emotional wellness and how it impacts our daily lives. I want to ask you, being in this work and this being what I believe is your life's work, how does a person start to tap into their emotional well-being, and how do they bring it out of them to really shift and change their everyday living?
So the answer is going to sound like really ironic, but they actually have to do nothing. Yeah, you do nothing. So we're programmed to believe that you have to do in order to be, right? That's wrong. That's wrong. And that revelation only came to me maybe sometime last year in the middle of a yoga class because I had been doing so much. I innovate regularly, you know, and so for me sometimes it can get very taxing, but I'm very excited to do new things. So I'm always like, someone's like, hey, Stephanie, you know, we want to do this. And I'm like, that sounds great. Let's do it, you know? And the pressure to keep up that momentum can be a lot.
Yes.
And so in that middle of that meditation, for me, it was like, oh, snap, I don't have to do it to prove that I am it. Like, I'm already it.
Yes.
And the more that I'm it, the more it'll show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's really it. So, like, everything we need is in us already. In yoga, we have a saying that everything you need is on the mat. And And the only thing that can fit on the mat is you, really.
Yes.
I'm about to start taking yoga.
Yeah, please do. It's created by Black people for Black people, for all people.
Yes, yes.
And actually, 2 days ago was International Day of Yoga. Check it out. I find that if you just be still, it's in every holy book.
Yes.
Right? To just be still. You have to spend some time not chasing a distraction. A lot of us these days have so much going on the inside that we actually run away from it.
Yes.
So if you sit...
It's hard for me to sit in this chair right now because I'm like, yes, carry on.
and that's why I like dawn. Right, because everything around me is still. Everybody's sleeping. Nothing's happening, and it's quiet. So it's like, it's just me and my thoughts. What am I thinking? What's the first thing that I'm thinking in the morning?
Yes.
9 times out of 10, it's a schedule. It's a this, it's that. But if you say to yourself, you know what? No, these first 10 minutes are for me, and I just want to breathe.
Yes.
Because if you breathe, you can't consciously do any thinking. Yeah. It's a trick. So that's why people are always telling you, focus on your breathing, focus on your breathing.
Yes.
Because if you're focusing on your breathing, you literally cannot consciously create up another thought.
Yes.
Thoughts will come in and out, but you respect them and you let them go.
Yes. It's so interesting. I spoke about the butterfly when the butterfly is in the chrysalis phase, and how literally the caterpillar has everything it needs to become the butterfly that it already is, and it just has to stay in that chrysalis.
Yes.
And I truly believe that chrysalis is the breath. It is the being, not the doing of a thing. And when I think it's part of our upbringing to be critical thinkers and not beings.
Yes.
And so it's kind of downloaded in us to just think about what's the next thing that I can think about and do versus being. And I believe that once we sit in that stillness, we'll automatically be and we'll automatically create and we'll flow in spirit and not in the natural form. And you get so much more done when you're in that space.
Girl, yes.
You have so much more peace when you're in that space. And it's a heightened level of creativity that you cannot tap into trying to do.
Right.
You have to be
it. That's exactly it. After all last, I started last year to this present moment. I would only do work after I took a class, because I would find that afterwards I realized what's important and what's not, what is pushing and what is just me doing. Right? And so I was able to knock out major things really, really, really fast because I was able to hone in on what is aligned with what I actually am here to do.
Yes. And it's so amazing because a baby isn't trying to form legs
at all
and eyeballs and all. It's just being
it's
becoming. And it's just like, then I'm here.
Yes. And the important thing about children is that they are comfortable at that stage, just being. And so because of us, we grow up to whatever age hearing we need to be this, we need to do that. And so you grow up thinking that you have to satisfy all these voices and not your own. Some people don't even know what they sound like.
Yes.
Yes. And so if you focus on just being, that comes in tandem with being comfortable with whatever that be is.
Yes.
Right?
And I'm glad you brought up children, because I think we have to extend the same grace to adults as well.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, stop putting so much pressure and expectations on other people around you and allow them to be. Because I truly believe that you allow people to be more of them when you walk in your authenticity.
That's it.
And you have to allow yourself to be you in order to extend that to other people. Oh my goodness, this hour is going by way too fast. So we might have to have a part 2. I'm just letting you know right now.
I'm going to spend the night in Harlem.
Yes. Before we go, share with us any projects that you have coming up and things of that nature.
Okay, cool. So we throw a monthly dinner series for Black women who've lost children through abortion, miscarriage, stillbirth. And it's called My Sister and Me, and it's once a month. It's the third Friday every month.
Okay.
But we don't publicize the location.
Okay.
Anonymity is important for that kind of space.
Definitely.
This Tuesday coming up, we actually have our first males group for men who've lost children. And it's regardless of, gun violence, separation, losing a child in utero, SIDS, it doesn't matter. And it's for us, because it's not a routine space, that's why we kind of let it open to any man who just feels like he needs to have some support that moment.
Definitely.
And then we also have like this really exciting series that we're partnering up on. It's called the Sound Series.
Okay.
So it's basically like a hip hop circuit,
Hmm.
and it's got a pretty decent following already. But they're kicking it off in the Flatbush Junction area in Brooklyn
Awesome.
this Thursday, and so we're a collaborator on that. And it's like we feel that expression, and like we were saying, just being right is really important to one's mental health. And so there's a lot of talented people out there who love the opportunity to share their talent with the world.
Of course.
And so we're on that, and it starts June 27th, a Thursday. You can follow at the Melanin Project on Instagram or at Melanin, it's me.lanin brand on Facebook.
Good stuff. You're ahead of me. I was going to ask, where can everybody stay connected? Are there any more websites or social media platforms that you would like to share?
Well, those, I mean, and I'm on a podcast I was telling you guys earlier, the Stereo Bros. And I know I'm a woman, but Stereo Bros, whatever. Basically, we use music to kind of, we talk music, politics, culture, all of those things. We're following the presidential, like the candidates on the Democratic side. We have a dating segment, which is really fun.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
All life.
it's all live. And if you are an emerging artist, we also do, share new music. on
Awesome,
there. So you can
awesome.
always send us a submission.
Great. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having
Miss
me.
Stephanie Pierre, the Melanin Project.
Yay.
Hashtag dopeness. We appreciate you. We appreciate your energy, and we appreciate your presence and being
Yes.
here.
Me too. I
Yes.
appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Brianna, where can everybody find you?
On Instagram at AdoreMeBree_.
Yes. Hashtag Shorty Doo Wop. I am Tashima Jones. You have just been tuning in to Life Club with me, Tashima Jones. And I am so very grateful for you listening. I'm so grateful for our ancestors and all of our connections. This show has been like so amazing. You can find me at tashimajones.com. All of my social media and contact information can be found there. Thank you so much for tuning in. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were here with us. And for that, we are truly grateful. Remember your greatness. Talk soon. I am Tashima Jones, and you've been listening to Life Club. Thank you for tuning in.